Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be covering the best transfer targets ahead of Game Week 24, ahead of an absolutely massive Game Week 25 where there's blanks, there's double game weeks. It's honestly absolutely crazy at the moment in FPL, but this is the channel where you're going to find out everything that you need to know to get the best rank possible. If you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as we are super close to 800 subscribers and we're trying to hit 1000 here on the channel. But that's enough waffle from me. Let's dive into some transfer targets ahead of Game Week 24. And the first player that I'm going to recommend for you to buy this game week is SAKA from Arsenal. Now, the reason that I'm suggesting SAKA and any kind of Arsenal midfielder bar Martinelli is the fact that Arsenal have a good fixture in 24, a double in 25, and then good long-term fixtures up until game week 29. Obviously, that double in 25 is what we're going to be focusing on primarily. Leicester and Everton, a very, very good double, especially if you've not used your triple captainship as well at that point. If you've not used it in the previous weeks with Rashford or Haaland, or you've not used it this week with Haaland, then I definitely think this is a huge opportunity to take advantage of that. Arsenal over the course of the season have been one of the best sides in the league in terms of attacking data and defensive data. Obviously at the moment experiencing a little bit of a slump, obviously with the defeat to Everton and the draw to Brentford, which actually shouldn't have been upheld due to like the offside and the human error. But, you know, that's not what we're here for. We're here for FPL. Obviously, Saka, the reason I'm recommending him is he is the highest scoring Arsenal player over the past 5 game weeks. 26 points scored, 1 goal, 2 assists. Okay, underlying data going along with that. But for me, the reason I like Saka is the fact that I feel he is pretty much nailed within this Arsenal side. I did have Gabriel Martinelli in my own side, but seeing him taken off and then Trossard score has made me really question kind of what Martinelli's use is going to be over the next few game weeks. I do feel if you have Martinelli, I would potentially be looking to rotate him out of my team, either transfer or on the bench, because I just think Trossard's now going to start the next game against City. If he performs again, could easily start again on the weekend, against Aston Villa. So I think you need to look at other Arsenal options. I do think the Arsenal triple up is definitely still on. Obviously, the fixtures, the form, hasn't been the best over the past few game weeks and it's not really gone to plan, but with the amount of long-term good fixtures here, it's definitely worth doing it, and that is why Bukayo Saka is my first transfer target of today's video. But let's move on to the second transfer target of game week 24. Max KILMAN is the second player that I'm going to recommend you bring in your teams for this game week. Wolves have been in kind of a little bit of a renaissance since the restart. Back-to-back wins as well. Obviously a 3-0 win over Liverpool and an impressive 2-1 win over Southampton with 10 men. So obviously with a double coming up and Bournemouth in game week 24, a huge game for both sides, kind of survival bid. Of course, we're going to recommend a Wolves player this week. I don't really fancy any of the midfield or kind of the forward options. I think if you are going to bring a Wolves player in, I think the defence is the best area to target. And the player that I have selected is Max KILMAN. Obviously, he has been the highest scoring player over the past 5 game weeks for Wolves with 1 assist off 0.02 XG, 23 points scored, but like we said, there have been some difficult fixtures in that run. I think they face Manchester City, so obviously defenders aren't going to do well against Manchester City, are they? But that Bournemouth game at home, absolutely huge, and then the double is against Fulham and Liverpool away, both away fixtures, so not the best, but I do feel for 4.3 million you are getting yourself a right little bargain here. Only 2.4% owned as well. Absolutely amazing. I think you either go him or you do go Craig Dawson. The thing with Dawson as well is I do feel he has that little bit more of a kind of set piece threat that we've seen throughout the Premier League for numerous amounts of years now, with West Brom, West Ham, and obviously now Wolves scoring last game week against Liverpool. So I definitely think he's another good option as well. But I like KILMAN. He's been a very solid player all season. Really low ownership and really low price as well. So I think it is a real easy no-brainer. The Wolves midfielders aren't kind of nailed. There's a lot of rotation and there's not really too much goal scoring action going on for Wolves. over the season. They haven't scored too many goals. There isn't kind of a clear attacking player that I could definitely pick out and recommend for you. So that is why I've gone for Max KILMAN, a guaranteed starter, bargain bottom price, and doing exceptionally well over the past 5 game weeks, as are Wolves. So yeah, Max KILMAN is the second player that I'm going to recommend you buy for game week 24. And the third player that I'm going to recommend in today's video is James Tarkowski. Obviously an absolute FPL legend, Sean Dyche legend, Premier League legend, just absolute all-round big defensive shithouse. The reason we're recommending him, absolutely great fixture in game week 24, a huge fixture for both clubs where they take on Leeds United. Absolutely relegation 6-pointer written all over that one. Leeds currently managerless, as well. Haven't been able to kind of get a manager in either, so it's not looking 100% good for them. Meanwhile, Everton are going to have another week under Dyche, getting that defensive resiliency in their team. So much of what he was famous for at Burnley, building a strong defence, taking advantage of kind of the set pieces and all the kind of the stuff that goes with that. That's what Dyche teams are about, strong, solid defence, and that is why I really like the look of James Tarkowski. 4.2 million, 1.8% owned as well. Also, amazing target as well from set pieces. We saw that against Arsenal. Dwight McNeil assist, and James Tarkowski goal. It's all what Dyche is about, taking advantage of set pieces. Solid at the back as well. And at 4.2 million, I really don't think you can go wrong. Leeds at home, and then a double against Aston Villa and Arsenal. The second game, not the easiest. I think Arsenal will be definitely looking to get revenge after the 1-0 job that Sean Dyche's team did at Goodison. And then in game week 26, they also take on Nottingham Forest, another huge relegation 6-pointer as well for them. So some really big crucial fixtures in there for Everton. He's not a long-term hold. After that, the fixtures do kind of fall off. Brentford, and then it just like Man U, Liverpool, all these really difficult teams. So I think it is very much a short-term kind of defensive, cheap option, especially ahead of a double game week. That's what you want to be doing. There's blanks in there. I think it's a real easy no-brainer. I'm looking at personally getting James Tarkowski in my own team, just down to the fact that I know what Sean Dyche's defences are like. They're very resilient, very hard to beat, very good at keeping clean sheets, which is what we want from an FPL perspective. And James Tarkowski offers that set-piece threat that is absolutely huge for defenders, because if they could get a goal, get an assist from a corner and keep a clean sheet, that's an easy free bonus as well. In a double game week is absolutely massive as well. Super low ownership, so it could be amazing for your rank. Really like the look of James Tarkowski as an option. Prefer him over the second option that I said, KILMAN, just down to the fact I do feel he has that little bit more of a set piece kind of threat. But let me know down in the comments below, are you looking at potentially bringing in any Everton or Wolves players for your side? But that's enough waffle. Let's get into the fourth player of today's video. And the final player that I'm going to recommend is Darwin Núñez. Now, before you click away and think he is an absolute lunatic, I'm just going to comment in the comment section now that he's an absolute dick. What's he doing suggesting this guy? Please, just hear me out. So, Liverpool obviously have a double in game week 25, which again, we want to be taking full advantage of. Crystal Palace, who have been in pretty poor form, haven't won a single game this season. Wolves, obviously, we spoke about their rejuvenation and obviously their 3-0 win over Liverpool. But, they're now going to Anfield. Not many teams lose at Anfield, so we'll have to see how that one goes. But Liverpool, obviously, they've been in really poor form, haven't they? Haven't won a single game this calendar year. Haven't won in the last 7 games. This is Liverpool we're talking about. Honestly, it's like unprecedented stuff, this. Really terrible form that they're in. None of their players are kind of excelling, but it's a double game week. They have quality players, and we need to be looking to take advantage of that. And that is why I've identified Darwin Núñez as a potential option for this upcoming game week. I think it could wait one more week and you just get him in for the double, because Newcastle are a very solid defence. But there aren't too many other players that I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this week. A lot of people are going to be rolling the transfer or just getting their team set up for the double game week like I am. So I think that's what a lot of people are going to be doing. Obviously, as you can see from his past 5 game weeks, no goals, 1 assist, only 9 points scored. But this is the big key point that I want to talk about. His underlying data has been absolutely exceptional. As you can see, over the past 5 game weeks, 1.96 expected goals. And over his last 5 games, not game weeks, his XG has been at 3.47. And he still hasn't scored. Like, honestly, man's just breaking like XG charts. He's going like OG Brighton days where they just used to batter people on XG and somehow still lose 1-0. It's got to change. Like, something has to kind of just go in at some point. You can't be accumulating this high XG and goals just not going in. It's just like not physically possible or mentally possible to kind of get your head around the kind of the numbers that he's putting up underlying data wise that just aren't going in. Salah's in a very similar position as well to him, where they're just acquiring lots of XG but just not having that little bit of a clinical edge. And I think things have to change, or like, well, I hope they change, because, you know, I'm recommending this guy. So for me, something has to change with Liverpool. Obviously, there's a lot of quality players as well. They've got people coming back from injury as well. Diogo Jota is one of the other players that I wanted to talk about. I do really like him as an FPL option. I think he's a great player and potentially could go in my team for this double. It's whether or not they can give him enough game time, and he's going to be guaranteed to start both games. But when he is fit, he is an amazing player. Amazing FPL option as well is Diogo Jota. A couple of seasons ago, absolutely smashed it for Liverpool as an FPL option. So I hope he's fit and fully firing, because I think I would potentially maybe favour him over Nunez if he's got the game time, and I know he's going to start both games. But Nunez is an option for this double. Obviously, you can't be acquiring this much expected data without kind of something eventually going right. And in a game week where you've got 2 games, surely a goal's got to go in at some point. I think the other forward options as well are kind of dwindling away a little bit. Mitrovic hasn't scored in his past 6 games, so that's a little bit of a concern as well. Missed 2 penalties, so might not even be on penalties. You've also got to factor in that Ivan Toney blanks in this game week, so you could very easily look at a very short-term solution, go for Nunez for Toney, and then bring Toney back in if he's not suspended with his betting thing. That I don't really know when that's going to happen. I thought it was the end of January, but evidently not, so maybe he's got away with it. Who knows? But yeah, Darwin Nunez was the last player that I am going to recommend. If you did enjoy the video and you enjoy the content that you see on this channel, please like, please comment, and please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we are trying to hit 1,000 subs on here. It would be absolutely amazing if we could do it before the end of the season. So if you do enjoy the content, and also if you have any comments about players you should be looking to bring in, or chip strategy or anything like that, leave it down in the comments below and I will answer all questions down there. Thank you very much for watching and good luck this game week.